The ref say one ball more. Okay, we have to do the restart. And our kicker make a mistake. Obviously, they're nervous about the situation to win, to arrive to a final. He kicked it directly to outside, drop it outside the line. And we take our head like, no, I can't believe it. And our physio started to say, no, start to jump. Come on, start to jump. Hey, we won. They push us to the tunnel, like, go away. And USA been there, waiting like, no, ref, it's free kick for us in the middle. No, the other team go inside. We went to the tunnel. But our physio won that game because he started to jump, and the ref looked like confused and say, okay, it's over. Our physio was the only guy who pushed us. Come on, jump. Hola, soy Santiago Cora y estoy muy contento de estar en Rugby Hive.
Today's guest is Santiago Cora, one of the greatest sevens players to ever play the game. Cora represented Argentina for a decade on the HSBC World Rugby 7 Series, scoring 1,178 points, and for many years led the world in tries scored, totaling 230. He won the Los Angeles Sevens in 2004, and then captained his side to glory in San Diego in 2009. Currently, he's preparing for the Olympic Games in Tokyo as the head coach for the Pumas Sevens team. In today's episode, we check how the speedster elevated himself to international rugby, playing alongside his brother, why he developed the chip and chase as his trademark move, and how his career on the Sevens World Series evolved into coaching his country. We chat about Argentina's recent success in beating Fiji 3 out of 4 times, how Santi enjoyed commentating at the 2019 Rugby World Cup, and his love of being at home with his son. Here is Argentine legend Santiago Cora.
He's so dangerous, Freddy Krueger has nightmares about him!
Hello and welcome to the Rugby Hive. I'm Dallen Stanford, and despite my South African accent, I was fortunate enough to play rugby for the United States on the Sevens World Series.
And I'm MacDowell, a former Canadian Sevens international. Back in my playing days, I went head-to-head against Dallen in the USA.
For several years, Robin has coached international sevens for various countries, including Canada and Mexico. He's massively passionate about growing the game across the Americas through his MacDowell rugby programs at all levels. I'm currently a commentator for World Rugby, most recently broadcasting the Rugby World Cup in Japan, as well as the amazing Sevens World Series.
More than a decade later, we are teaming up to bring you insights from legendary players and coaches from around the world.
All legends have a story. The Rugby Hive podcast is here to share it.
Welcome to the Hive.
Oh, he's more dangerous than climate change!
Hello and welcome to episode number 21. What a brilliant time we've had on the Rugby Hive so far, chatting to global rugby icons from around the world. Former All Black Sevens captain and World Rugby commentator Carl Tanana was fantastic last week, except for his missus banging pots and pans throughout the entire episode. This week, though, we switch our attention to Argentina's golden son, Santiago Cora, remarkable player on the HSBC World Rugby 7 Series. We both got to play against Santi, and like he did hundreds of times on the field, he eluded us with his soccer skills. I've also had the privilege to work in broadcasting with good old Santi in Argentina for the World Rugby Under-20 Championship last year, and in Japan at the Rugby World Cup alongside him and Joel Stransky. Such a character, so humble, one of the good guys.
It was an honor to play against Santi, and he was obviously the class off the field, but definitely didn't like having him running around me like a parked car, as you say. World Rugby, one of the top try scorers of all time, and now to see him lead Argentina is very special to have an alumni like him, and he's essentially the poster boy for Argentinian sevens, and now he's raising his son, and we're excited to see him come through when he picks up a rugby ball.
That's really true. And his son is cooking as a master chef in the kitchen. Just love those little social media videos. Very cute. Santi, of course, preparing his Argentine side for the Olympic Games as well. And we're very excited to see how they go and represent South America. And then other news this week as well in the rugby world, World Rugby Special Awards coming up. And it's Players of the Decade in the men's game, the women's game, Tries of the Decade. There's so many special characters, some US and Canadians up for grabs as well. And I bet you Carl Tanana, KT, will be on the hosting panel for that show. It happens December 7th or December 8th, depending on where you are in the world. So that'll be pretty exciting to tune into. Well, Robin, I had a opportunity this week, really special, to get on a Lions rugby chat ahead of the tour next year, Jeremy Guscott, the Prince of Centres from England, was on the call. Gavin Hastings, the famous fullback from Scotland, and Phil Vickery, the workhorse up front for the England pack that won the Rugby World Cup in 2003. And just listening to these characters tell the stories about when they travel with the Lions. Guscott had a brilliant one where he was playing in the amateur era, and as it became professional, he was lucky to be in the Lions squad and scored an unbelievable try where he grubbed it through. He basically pulled a Santiago Cora for the Lions, and they won the 89 series. And he was a bricklayer before the tour, and that's what he did for a living. And apparently on the side, one of the physios was having a drag of a cigarette. Now, this is in 89, so things were a bit amateur. And he turned around to the coach, whoever was there, and was like, he'll never lay another brick again.
Amazing.
And to this day, of course, Jerry Guscott, alongside those Lions, legendary folks, just great memories. And of course, the one that stings me is Guscott's drop goal against South Africa to win the 97 series, but just legendary moments for his side. Do you have any Lions memories?
Well, no, just the last round, obviously with New Zealand after the previous World Cup and how it ended in a draw, which the All Blacks were just so gutted. It felt like a loss. It felt like somebody, shot their animal or something like that, I guess. But yeah, just excited. I mean, just the special thing about the Lions is obviously having these different nations play together, and then obviously the history and going into South Africa and putting it all on the line. But I'm excited to see this, and hopefully it goes off.
Well, that's the thing. We did have a chat about it afterwards. The potential for it happening, and Gavin Hastings said he's on the committee for the Lions, and they're obviously eager to go. South Africa, from a financial point of view, haven't traveled anywhere, and so they're eager for this to go ahead. The Lions have the most remarkable touring group of supporters that follow them around the globe. And it's funny you mentioned that New Zealand trip. You look into the crowd and you saw mostly red jerseys because they travel so thick and far. And so it would be amazing. But again, we are in these uncertain times. There's talks of vaccines and there's talks of, getting the player bubbles. But then you want the fans to be able to experience it. That's the thing. It is a bit eerie and weird to watch a rugby game nowadays with no fans in the stadium, no sound. It's almost like, yeah, sure, the game is, intense and amazing, but it takes away, I would say half the atmosphere.
Yeah, absolutely. And where do people go to get tickets? Like, where do they go to find out about these packages?
Yeah, that's right. So Dynamo Sports Travel Group, I'm working with them to promote ticket inclusive packages. So basically any you can't just buy a ticket nowadays because they've already done the lottery. So people have to go through some sort of package. If you live in the UK and EU, you go through the Lions official tour group, which is great. But outside of that, anywhere in the country, folks can reach out to me, catch me on the socials as well, at the Rugby Corner, or you can catch us at the Rugby Hive. And, the nice thing is that you get recommendations for all sorts of touring things. If you want to go snorkeling, you want to go shark diving, if you want to go skydiving, you want to go up Table Mountain, Robben Island, where Nelson Mandela was kept in prison for 27 years. There's so many iconic things to do in Africa, very, very affordable as well. And Robin, as I said, if all goes according to plan, we're able to pull this off, we're able to travel and get it going, it would be brilliant for you and me to get our Hive kit on and carve up Africa like a Zulu warrior.
Oh, I can't wait. I'd be down. I haven't been there since George in the mid to late 2000s playing for Canada. So it was South Africa is one of the most beautiful countries I've ever seen, if not the most beautiful country. The colors, the people, the wildlife, everything. And I'd be keen to go back and especially experience it with a hometown kid like you. That's
right. Plus we've got Frankie Horn to cook us breakfast. The big water buffalo himself will be there. So listen, make sure you catch us on all the socials at Rugby Hive on Twitter and Facebook, at My Rugby Hive on Insta. And support for the Rugby Hive is brought to you by Gilbert Rugby Canada, Brand Marinade, and Focus Care Products. Time now for episode number 21. So here we are with Santi, good friend and legend on and off the field. Santi, I know that despite traveling normally with rugby all over the globe, you're actually very much a homebody. And so the lockdown must be perfect for you, spending quality time with your son, Milo.
Exactly. Hello, how are you? Thank you for this interview or this chat. I understand the atmosphere about we are in quarantine. It's a big problem, but for me it's perfect because in the last 20 years, I spent a lot of time in the airplanes on different countries. So now I can spend some time in my home and with my son, and we are, learning together because I have to give him the English class or the school, all the classes from the school. So it's a perfect time to do something different after 20 years.
And Santi, I've seen a lot of your social media videos, really cool ones of you cooking with your son. What sort of things are you making in the kitchen?
A lot of things. We have to have breakfast, lunch, and the midday, and then the dinner. So we try to do different things to have fun for one side and to start to eat more healthy. He loved to do it with me, so we started like to do something different. And he said, "Hey, let's go to cook something." And we do some, I don't know, cookies, chicken, beef, barbecue. Something he loved to burn the fire to prepare the barbecue. So we spend time together, quality time. I always talk about the quality time because maybe most of the fathers spend a lot of time with his sons, but I'm talking always about the quality, and now I have quality and time because I spent the last 60 days with him here, and we are growing together in a lot of things.
And how old is your son?
7 years old.
7 years old, so great age to be home with him. And is he an aspiring rugby player like his dad?
I don't think so.
You don't think so? Not yet?
He'd love to play soccer, as every Archie. Play with the Legos, I don't know, Nintendo, PlayStation. He loved to do some draws and the papers, but he loved to build things. I don't know, with Legos or whatever. He took things and started to build. I don't know. His mother is an architect. Maybe he has that in the blood. I don't know.
Creative mind. That's great. Well, just transitioning into your childhood growing up in Argentina, and what sports did you and your brothers play?
We went to a club with a lot of sport, like cricket, hockey, rugby, soccer, tennis, swimming pool, everything. And we started to do everything because me and my brother, we spent, I don't know, all the afternoon running around the garden. And my mother said, you have to go to some place different, like home. And we went to Lomas Athletic, and it's an English club full of sport. And we started to do everything: tennis, soccer, cricket, bowls. And we choose, I suppose, rugby because it's about teammates, it's about friends, it's about spend time with friends. My friends are from there. I have my friends from the school and friends from the club. But my really friends and the friends that I have right now are from the club. So it's about friendship. And then when we start to grow and to see what happened with the sport, with the game, my brother is more fanatic about the game. And he always his goal was arrive to the first team of the Lomas Athletic. His dream playing Pumas or whatever. Just me, it's have fun with my friends, and that's it. And then we started to play together.
And is your brother older or younger than you?
Older, 2 years.
You always follow him. Well, he must be very, very proud of what you've accomplished, both as a player and as a coach.
Very fun because in the club he was the captain of the team, and in the national team in Sevens, I was the captain of him. Also, I say he did something in the club. I say, be careful because next week we are traveling to, I don't know, somewhere with Sevens, and I can have my revenge. So, but we are friends. We have the same age, the same friends, and it was wonderful because we play in the club. We spend a lot of time together in our house. So we are very close, and it was a big experience. Play Sevens. You have 7 players and 2 are brothers. And was awesome because in the middle of the pitch, I always with your brother, come on, Dallen, you can do it. Let's go to run. Don't do that. I always like a captain, or the relation was a brother. Sometimes was like a brother, and sometimes as a friend. But most of the time was as a brother. Like, you can't do that. Oh, sorry, I'm the captain. Oh, doesn't matter.
Very special. I didn't know you had an opportunity to play with your brother. And what was your pathway like to be identified by the Pumas originally?
Was a particular story because was 21 years ago. My club played a game against Pumas before to the Rugby World Cup to 99. Before to do that travel, they came to Lomas Athletic to play a friendly game. Lomas Athletic from the second division in that moment, no, in first division. And because we for us was 100 years because found the first title of Lomas Athletic. I don't remember very well, but we played a friendly game, and I did a spectacular, tremendous try against Pumas. Was the best try in my life, and it's about being the correct moment and in the correct side. And I scored that try, and after the game, the managers or some of the players came and said, "Oh, you're so fast. You play in sevens?" No, I just play in the club. I never play under 20 or any process of develop of Argentina or my provincial teams. So I went directly to Lomas Athletic to Pumas. Was the last case in these 20 years who someone arrived directly from club to a team.
And what is the pathway like now for the young aspiring Argentinian players?
We have a lot of academies around the country. We have a big country, so we have 10 academies around the country. And the process started when the player has 16, 15 years old. The manager of the academies choose some players they see something. We gave some tools like we need a fast guy, a tall guy, and they choose some players. And then maybe we travel around the different provinces to see that players, and we take some players from our academy, sevens or under 20. And after they have a process in under 20 for 3-4 years. And after under 20, some players go directly to Pumas or Jaguares, or I am the last team to choose, or to seven. Maybe they need more time to develop. And after 1 or 2 years in sevens, they go through to 15. But the process is started in under 20, like for the World Cup under 20. And they started with 16 years old, and we start to choose some players from there, but we have to respect the process of juniors. And after that, when they finish the season of under 20, we can take some players from there.
Yeah, it's remarkable to see some of those under 20 players go into the national 15 side, but coming through your sevens program as well, Santi, let's talk about your career, right? So it spanned about 10 years on the series. Can you tell us about your very first debut tournament? Where, when, and what was going through your mind?
Was 20 years ago in Durban, and because before Cape Town we played in Durban, and it was terrible because that team had a big story behind the team. All the players had, 30, 32 years old, and for me just 20, 21, and for me because I as I told you, I came from a small club from Argentina directly to national team, so it was very strong the difference. And I arrived to see the guys, and in that time we went directly to the airport, and so I met my mates in the airport, like, "Hello, I'm Santi from Loma. Who are you?" Nobody know me. "Hi, I'm going to play with you." And I don't know, Gaitan was there, big names around the team, big name, because at the end of one process, who finished in the World Cup 2001. Yeah, I started 2 months before that World Cup. So for me, it was incredible. And I started to the practice, and I remember the coach say, "Come on, Santi, run." And in a practice, you can't run because you're not going to run just in a practice and just to go, because when the ball arrives to the corner or to the touch, you turn around, make a ruck, and start again the situation. And the coach didn't know me, obviously. Someone said to him, "Hey, you have to call this guy. He's very fast." And he said me, "Run." Okay, I tried to run just 5 meters. No, run with the ball. And I see in front of me was big names, and I can't run away from that guy because for a respect of him. And in the practice, you try to turn around. Okay, tackle me here. And the third time he told me, "Santi, take the ball and run. I want to know you." He told me the real situation. "I need to know you. Run." And I looked like Forrest Gump. I took the ball. I started to run like 50 meters. Nobody followed me, or the next guy to follow me was 20, 30 meters behind me. And I look all the big stars of my team like, okay, was a crazy situation, but it's okay. For me, it was embarrassing. And was tremendous. Go inside to the Durban Stadium. It's a huge stadium against Australia. I remember my first game. Big names in Australia too. Graham, big names in front of me. Tim Atkinson, a lot of names in front of me, and I came from Lomas to this big stadium. I can't believe it. And now you can't do that, because for the process that I told in that moment was wow.
I love that the culture is different. As you said, you have to show the respect to your older teammates and players and things like that. So that's I'm great that they said, I need to know you. And then you put your wheels on. Speaking of those wheels, you've seen the series change tremendously over the last 20 years, particularly now that you've been a coach on the other side of things. What are the differences you've noticed from those early years when you played to the current series?
The game right now is more physical, 100%. The other day I had a conversation with Serebi, and he told me, I don't know from where come that tall guys, because with Fish it's the same. Fish, you remember players like Ryder or Waisale, or players with a lot of skills, with a lot of cheat, and now it's more physical, it's more vertical, and it's 100% different. I can play in this game. In my team, I never clean a rack. I make a rack like I was there, but clean to someone else, it's impossible for me. I never did it during 10 years. So because the situation are just...
No, I was going to say the same about me as well, and I'm sure Dallen's the same.
So I have to talk about defense and clean racks and come on, you can do it. And how can you do that? I can't believe it. But it's 100% different. Obviously, you can adapt about this situation, but I prefer the rugby that when we play, and you know about that, Dallen, about that kind of skill, because you was that kind of player that I talk about, they show the ball to one side and play to the other side. I love that are different. Both are incredible because now it's more technical. You have a lot of study about the game, the movement, a lot of video analysis. And in our time, it's like move the ball from one side to the other side with a lot of respect about the game, no? But different way to play. And I prefer our style.
I love that style indeed. I mean, it is interesting now that we're in the series a lot, commentating or coaching, and you go, and all the three of us have been around it, and you walk around, you see the players these days, and you're like, wow, look how big they are. And, it's something, look, I don't know about you, Robin, but Santi and myself have never seen the inside of a gym. And so, it goes to show.
Very clear.
So, Santi, give our listeners some insight to the Pumas Sevens culture and style of play. Growing up in Canada, we tried to mirror the RGs in our day. We didn't have a very big team, and our coaches used to always talk about just the level of work rate and the tenacity that the Pumas always brought in consistently. And I still see that level of work rate and tenacity on the field. Where does that come from?
Yes, came from the clubs, I suppose, but when we are looking at some players, our focus is in the passion that they have to play, because you can do a lot of exercise, have a lot of skills, but if you don't have that passion about the game, it's impossible to play sevens, because sevens you are always tired. I don't know when you enjoy it, because after the game you are tired to enjoy it too. So you need to, for one side, that kind of passion about the game. From the other side, it's like, I don't know, when you are being committed about the objective of the team, like feel that the objective is your own objective about life, and it's the only way to do the crazy thing that you do into the field, because you are running in a huge field, and you have to, Argentina have to play against big guys. Always we are the smaller of the series, so we have a lot of things against us, but we say we can do it. Either you have to practice, you have to train more, and I don't know. But the most important thing for the Archies always is the passion and the way that we feel the game.
And Argentina has won 2 tournaments on the World Series over the past 2 decades. You were part of both of those Champagne glory days. Tell us about your memories from Los Angeles in 2004 and San Diego in 2009. And did playing closer to home, i.e. as far as the Americas is concerned, help with your success?
Yes, 2004 both tournaments are different. Were different. In 2004 was incredible. Was the worst week before a tournament. When you say you prepare a week to play a tournament, you say no, Monday you have to do this and practice this and eat this, and it was terrible. The practice 2 times the coach had to say, okay, it's over because it's terrible. You drop the balls for everywhere, and we went to eat in burgers because we went to in LA we went to the park to play. I don't know, it was a crazy week, and we won the tournament. We won the first tournament, and that was awesome for us because it was the first time that we beat New Zealand, and we did in a final, and it was our first title for Argentina. It was in America. I don't know, it was great, awesome. And the other tournament in 2009 in Santiago, I was the captain of that team, and I had the responsibility to arrive to that tournament. And because we had 1 year before that, we had a big fight with our manager of our union. Like, we need support of you, and we need to practice every day. I can believe it. We are going to practice to play against professional teams, not professional about money, because professional about organization. And so I had a big fight. And when you put everything in the table, like, we need this and this and this, and they gave us part of that, and then showed, like, if we do that, we can win. So, and for me was awesome, because I was the captain. I had a big fight, and was incredible for me. And because we beat USA in the semifinal in the last
Don't mention it, Santiago.
Okay, sorry. And it was both tournaments was different, but I prefer 2009 because I was the captain, and the fight of the right that I told you before. So it was an incredible experience for me. And a particular story about that tournament, we arrived later to the first game because our liaison, I don't know what happened the night before, and we arrived to the lobby hotel at 9 a.m. We had a game, 10:30 against Mexico, and we were there. And where is the liaison? I don't know. Liaison are the people, the guys from the city who give you a hand during the week. No, I don't know. They lost the bands. They got wrong, and they leave the bands. I don't know where. And okay, let's go to take some cups. And the coach in the lobby of the hotel say, okay, he's going to go inside to the pitch. You, the first sevens, take the first taxi, and we arrived directly to the pitch. We did 10 minutes of warm up, and we beat Mexico for a short difference, but we did it. And that was our first game in that tournament. So always a big story behind the tournament. In 2004, with the parks and the McDonald's and the problems in the practice. And in 2009, about we arrived too late to the stadium.
Well, Santi, it seems to me that you thrive in chaotic situations, which is a remarkable feat, as you said. The starting seven, off they go into the cabs. That's brilliant. But now I remember that 2009 victory for you guys, and actually for us, because we've always had some close games against Argentina in the head-to-head battles, and we thought, this could be the first time the USA could make a final, and being at home would have been amazing. So thanks for ruining that party, Santi.
We beat you in the last 20 seconds because with 20 seconds remaining.
Listen, you need to tell this story because Al Caravelli, our coach, a USA coach who was born in Argentina, Argentine roots. You tell a brilliant story when I saw you at the last Sevens event. It was the final play of the game, and didn't your kicker kicked it directly into touch, right?
Yes, I scored the last try to win, but the game didn't over. The ref say one ball more. Okay, we have to do the restart. And we practice because we had that problem, 1 year before of that. And we practice kick directly to outside, not directly like the ball must drop before the line, obviously. And our kicker make a mistake, obviously, they're nervous about the situation to win, to arrive to a final. And he kicked it directly to outside, very, very plain the ball, but drop it outside the line. And I was on the bench. After the try, I was on the bench. And we take our head like, no, I can't believe it. And our physio started to say, no, start to jump. Come on, start to jump. Hey, we won. They push us to the tunnel, like, go away. And USA been there waiting like, no, ref, it's free kick for us in the middle. No, the other team go inside. We went to the tunnel and we were like hiding the tunnel, like, no, they're there. The Eagles are there, and it was funny. Our physio won that game because he started to jump, and the ref looked like confused and say, okay, it's over. Our physio was the only guy who pushed us. Come on, jump. Always with a big story behind.
I know. I'd forgotten about that story, but then you brought it up. That was absolutely brilliant. I mean, those are the inside information people don't know about or get to hear,
Our physios say I was the champion in 2009 because I won the semi-final. He said I won the semi-final.
Do you remember his name? You got to give him a shout out right now.
Damian Munoz.
Physio masterclass right there.
Santi, let's go across to tries scored. Okay, so for many years you held the record for most tries scored in the Sevens World Series. It was for all the time that you played, and then you were being retired for about 6 years. And in 2016, Collins Jera finally passed that record. Today you sit tied fourth with Seabelo Senatla on 230 tries. Talk us through your try scoring ability and the way you use soccer to your advantage just to get past defenders that may have been bigger or stronger than you.
Yes, that was the why I did it. I used to be very fast when I was young, and I had the skill to kick the ball very well because of the soccer. I love soccer more than rugby. I play soccer every week with my friends, and I watch soccer every day. Not now in this moment, but I love the soccer, and I had the skill to kick the ball. And when I start to run, I didn't have a big body to crush someone else, and I said, okay, I'm fast and I know how to kick a ball. If I put both together, when someone wants to tackle me, I kick the ball. Not because I started not because I want to be a score machine, just because I hate that someone crush me. My first game in the first team of my club, someone tackled me from the side, and I fell to the floor, and I was out 3 weeks because of the hit. So I said, I can't hit to anyone, so I need to practice this. And I started to practice, like, if someone comes, I kick the ball. You can touch me. Was it like that? No, I didn't start like I kick the ball like, wow, what a skill, and you are going to score a try. No, it's not for a score a try. It's for, you can kick me, you can tackle me. Like, I drop the ball, it's not my ball. If I can pass it away, better. If not, I kick it, because I was in the next of the touch line. So I started to develop that skill, like speed, and I scored more than 150 for sure with the kick. Most of the time, the coach said, no, don't kick. Like in the semi-final with USA, was the last ball, and when you have 30 seconds on the clock, you are not going to kick the ball. If some of my players do it right now, I'm going to kill them, because you have to keep the possession. But I did it. The other day, one of the players who played in my same position say, no, Santi, I don't know what happened in individual chat. I don't know what happened with me. I'm not very sure about my skills. I started with work with psychology. I said, leave it. You don't have to think. You have to act. You are a winger. You have to, if you see the situation, kick the ball, move the defender. I don't know. Our idea was that, and I did it most of my try in that situation. The coach started, no, don't kick. Oh, well done, Santi. Come on, you kick again. Come on. But most of the situation, my teammates on the bench told me then the story about, no, the coach at the beginning say, no, Santi's crazy kick, and then he started to jump like, come on, Santi, like support me. But most of the situations were a crazy decision. But when you have to do it, like, you have to think to play, because you were playmaker. But not for me. I have to try to score a try, and that is the difference, maybe in different situations on the game. And talking about the tries, was most of the situation was with some kick, some chip. You told me the other day, chip and chase.
Yeah, chip and chase, exactly. Now, the trick about a chip and chase or any kick through is that you're not sure where the ball's going to bounce and that sort of thing. So the fact that you could time it so perfectly, round your opposite number, and then gather and score. No wonder the coaches were, Santi, you can do whatever you want. But I know what you're saying. As a coach now, you almost pull your hair out what you have left of it if somebody kicks the ball ahead and doesn't gather.
Exactly. But this most of the time, someone say, no, you're a lucky guy. You always drop very well the ball. When more practice, more lucky I have. So it's about practice and the way that you drop the ball and the way that you kick the ball. And I try to teach my players the same situation. But I started the real situation, the real life is because I hate when someone crush me or make me attack and say, I don't have the ball, you can't touch me. And I started to play like that in the club, like when you play with your friends before the practice. And I started to do that, and you can do it on the pitch. Do it again? Yes, you can do it. I started to do it, did it, and that was why I developed that skill.
Brilliant insight. Santi, let's talk about Rugby World Cup events. It's any player's dream to feature in one of those. And you got a chance to play in the 2005 Sevens World Cup in Hong Kong, and then in Dubai in 2009. What were your memories and experiences during those two events?
Both events, in that moment, the World Cup were the most important. Now is the Olympics. But for us, the 2005 was we had a very good teams, but we lost again Fish in quarterfinal with Serevi, Ryder, and I don't know, all they play with 10 players into the pitch, incredible. and we lost very, very tough. In the last ball, we lost against Fiji, I remember, with Serevi. And then in 2000, and that was hard because we did a very good job before the game. We won the title in Los Angeles. We arrived to 3 finals before the World Cup, and we feel that we can do something better than the quarterfinal. But when you have Fiji in front, it's Fiji. You have to respect, and we were very close to beat them. Then in 2009, we arrived to the final. Maybe because we won in the pool against Wales, we felt like we are champions, and that was a big mistake. We didn't talk about we won because we won the other day against Wales, but maybe in your mind we made that mistake. We had a lot of opportunity to beat Wales in that final, and was very sad finish without nothing in that moment, because we were the best team, but we couldn't win the tournament. So that is very sad for us.
It's interesting. I thought it was great that Argentina and Wales ended up in that cup final, and that was very indicative of sevens. And one thing that I've always admired about the Pumas in 15s or sevens, I think the Pumas really, for me, and maybe Japan now, but the Pumas have always kind of had that edge of, in 15s and sevens, that they could beat anybody. And the thing that we all love about sevens is anybody can beat anybody. But in 15s, Argentina can literally beat anybody, and always has been famous for upsets. And I think that goes back to the work rate and the tenacity we talked about earlier. Let's talk about your 15s career, both with your club and your cap with the Pumas back in the day.
Yes, I did it in my second year in sevens after playing 2 years in a series or 1 year in a series. They called me to play 15 because I was fast and I scored a lot of try, and they said we need to try this guy, and I did it. I came back from Hong Kong, you know how many hours, 40 hours traveling and 15 hours of difference, and I went directly to play 15. I had to meet a big team of Pumas, and we played against Uruguay, and I feel great. I scored 3 tries, but maybe the way that I play, like drop the ball, kick the ball away, I love to enjoy the game. I hate to be more conservative, like you have to keep the possession 100%, and was so boring. I played just one time, I delivered the ball to everywhere, I kicked the ball to everywhere. I scored 3 times, but the guy in the meantime, in the half, he told, no, be careful, you have to catch the ball. I scored 2 times. I know right now, but in that moment with 21 years old, he talked just about my mistakes. Like, you don't have to, because I did a rubber pass inside and I gave the ball to one from the other team. Something happens. And I kicked 2 balls away, and he talked about that and said, nice, that is so boring. And I was focused in 7 because I can do that. I can enjoy more the game. And that was my short pass in 15.
Yeah, well, a lot of the sevens guys, we kind of had that opportunity. And I think for me, I was such a crazy player myself growing up, and I'm half Italian, so I really contributed to that. And when I went to play a season in France and then a season in Italy when I was 20 and 21, I felt like I was coming home for the first time, because especially in Italy, it's the craziest league in the world. They try everything. They've got the flair and again, a strong soccer background. So, you know, I don't know about Dallen, but Santi, I came from a very hard club that was very forward driven. It's not just, you know, we don't want to go into contact at our size, but it's literally just staying alive out there when you're going against some of the guys these size. And for you that's had such a long, successful career, it's a big credit to your skills and the work you put on to get there. Just transitioning to your coaching career, how did that journey begin, and what was that transition like for you?
It was hard but my focus in that moment, when I finished my career, I said I don't want to travel anymore, because I spent 10 years traveling. That was my idea in 2010. I was tired. I need to do something different with my life, because in that moment it was amateur and I need to earn my own money. My parents can't spend all their life supporting me. And I started to work like a normal guy. I have to go to our office every day, try to have a routine. It was very hard, just 1 year. And after that, someone offered me to coach one team. And I did it like, well, let's go to see what's happened. And I did it, and we won 3 tournaments, local tournament here. Someone called me and said, Santi, you can be the national coach. And I said, no, I prefer to stay in Argentina. So I took that job, but I say, okay, I'm going to work in the academies. I'm not going to travel to anywhere. And then in 2013, they told me, Santi, you have to be the head coach because we need to prepare that team for the Olympics. And I had to think and take the decision to say, okay, I know where is this, because I had the mother of my son. I was with her, and I said, be careful because this is so hard. No, it doesn't matter. You can travel and then we can spend time together. I tell you, this is not easy, and I had to take that decision if I want to spend my life, or for the moment 7 years, traveling around the world. Is very hard. Everyone say, no, it's amazing life. You can travel around the world. Yes, but you miss a lot of things, like see your son grow or some event in your country. But I'm very happy with my job. It's not to start to cry like it's very hard. I'm very happy. And the first key for me is, that's why when someone told me the record of Tryman was better for me, because I start to think just like a coach, because the most important thing is live your life as a player. Can give you experience, some tools to develop new players, to develop a team, but you have to start to think as a coach. And it's different when you say, no, when I play, you are focused in the game, and you have to forget your past and start to think as a coach, and that is not easy. And I did that process when I coached the women's in 2012, and I started to do like, I don't know how to say in English, like leave the player, the former player, leave the player behind me, because always was with me. And when I started the series, the Tryman Santiago, I'm not the Tryman, I'm the coach. I know I'm terrible as a coach, but don't tell me they are going to steal your record. I'm coaching. I don't know. Okay, Colin Sinchera, let's go to do it, Senatla, whatever. And it was very hard, because you are not the player anymore. You have to show a game your skill, the thing that you can do for a team.
And then Santi, in 2013, you took over the men's side on the Sevens World Series, and you've been with them now 6-7 seasons. So what are the challenges you've faced being a coach now? You know, as you said, coming from a player, very successful career, but as a coach, you've had a lot of development over the years, right?
Yes, I'm learning to be a coach. I'm growing. My goal for the moment, I was arrive to the Olympics, and then won the Pan Am's Games. The gold medal was one of the goal that we had the last season, and now go for one medal in the Olympics. It's my goal, it's my dream, it's my focus, and my mind is there, because most of the people ask me, you want to coach 15, you want to coach in another country? I don't know. I want to win a medal in the Olympics. So my goal is that. For one side, we are working, develop some players, because we are part of the develop project in Argentina. Some players who I know they are going to 15. But in the same time, we have to be competitive. And now my focus and the union follow me with that. And I convince them to do this is go for a medal in the next Olympic. I don't know, 2021.
And the past 5 years has seen the most competitive World Series ever. How have you kept Argentina in the mix, in the top of the teams?
It's not easy, because when I used to play, you have 3 teams very competitive, and the rest, you can beat in an easy way. Now the 16, the I don't know, the last year Ireland was the invitational team, and they arrived to the semifinal. And now all the games are so hard, it's so competitive, and we need to be, I don't know, our challenge is growing every day, because we have to do more to be close for the teams, for the core team, or the teams like New Zealand, South Africa. We started after them with the develop of sevens in our country. Like I told you, in 2013, we didn't have professional players, coaches, nothing, and I'm changing that. And I suppose we are growing, but we are always behind the big team. So they are changing something, and we change, and we're trying to adapt our develop to be more competitive. So it's not easy, and it's very hard. That's why I told you about the players. It's not players just with a good skills. they need to feel the passion to play and the objective of the teams, of the team to be better and because it's crazy. You have to run in a big field, and again New Zealand, the guys are huge, Fiji, and they're fast and enormous, and you have to be like a little crazy, but it's not just be crazy. It's not play with your heart, and that is why we are always trying to not the best players, if not the players who can do the thing that we look in the series.
Yeah, it's for coaches out there trying to prepare your team for competition on the World Series is tough, because typically in 15s or any other competition, we're prepared to play, New Zealand in 2 months or in a week. And you got to go from playing, say, England to Fiji to France to USA, all within, a few hours of each other. So when I prepared Mexico for the World Cup, we only could prepare for New Zealand, just like whoever you had to prepare first in the Sevens World Cup. And then after that, you don't know who you're playing because there wasn't pools. It was literally just ranking. So trying to prepare for your plan B, plan C, it was impossible. It was like a lottery, and there was upsets everywhere. So it's very challenging as a coach, but that's why we live for it.
And 6 different refs too. And the way that they do, the way that they play of the refs. So it's a big challenge that we know that and we have to finish. We have a position in 15. You have friendly games during a year, just one World Cup of each 4 years. You have the big event. We have every weekend, because if you did it really wrong, you have to go down, and if you go down, you are not going to play the next series. And every weekend is a big challenge. Not in 15. 15 obviously it's the most important and whatever, but you are playing in develop because you are focusing the World Cup. And I know Six Nations or the Rugby Championship, but are more friendly games than in the Sevens. You have to win. You have to be on the topic. If not, you can be competitive.
Yeah, it's very, very challenging, but it's also what keeps us hungry. What has helped your boys stay competitive against Fiji in recent times? 3 of the last 4, Argentina has been able to beat Fiji.
I can't tell you the secret, but no. The idea everyone knows about play against Fiji. It's the team who leave us out always or many times was Fiji. Like in 2005, I told you in the World Cup, and then in the Olympics, we lost in the pool against Fiji. Very close game. Just we lost for 5 points, and the coach said Argentina was the harder match in the Olympics. So we know Fiji is one of the impossible teams, and we start to work very focused and very hard in the way to play against Fiji. We, like you say, you have 6 games during the weekend, so you prepare some games, you are more focused in your develop, but we had to do something with Fiji because it was impossible for us. And we start to training situations like Fiji were in front of us, and we start to practice, and we took the decision to take a different way to play. And the secret is keep the possession and keep the possession. It's the most important.
They're one of the hardest teams to prepare for any side. But Santi, let's switch back to the Olympic Games in 2016. Took Argentina there. What was that experience like for you, both on the field and off the field?
I suppose was the best experience as a coach or player or as a guy of rugby, because being in the village was the best experience that you can be, because you have all the best athletes in the same place and in the same situation. Like you are in the same place with Nadal or Andy Murray or Usain Bolt, and when you are waiting the food with him, like, okay, you can pass because I don't feel comfortable with you behind me. Like you are Bolt and you are waiting behind me. So it's a great experience, and I enjoyed a lot. Spend time in the afternoon, I don't know, watching the sport guys walking around the village. Like they are going to competitive, they came to loss, they won. The faces, the atmosphere was incredible. And then into the field was the first time they see the rugby in the Olympics. Was, I feel very proud, not because of the Argentina, because of the rugby sevens, because as you, Dallen, we feel a lot of things about seven, not just a game for us. It's our life, and see our like son into in the big event I don't know, I spent years watching the Olympics. I love the runs, all the sport in the Olympics. And we are and I see we are going to be part of this. We are in the same situation of this guy. And for me, I feel very proud about rugby there and sevens, obviously. And then Argentina, we had a very hard game against USA. We had two injuries, big stars. We lost 2 players in the first half, and then 2 mistakes of the ref. They put a yellow card, and he said, "Sorry, something was a big fault, big mistake, was too bad." And we won that game with 5 players into the pitch. 5 players against USA with all the stars. They were one of the favorite teams. And we beat USA in the first. Then Brazil, the local, was interesting because it's from South America, and they were local. And then Fiji, and we were very close. We know about that game. That game was the game, and we lost. But we feel that we can do. We are close, and we can do something in the future of the Olympics. And then we lost with England, with Great Britain. In extra time, and that was hard, sad, and because we had the opportunity in the last ball, and our kicker lost the opportunity very close of the post, and that was hard and sad for the team. And after that, we beat Australia, but we were very, very, very sad. But the experience was awesome because it was in South America, was our first time, and I, as I told you, see the sevens in the family of the Olympic was like I did everything okay. So I'm very proud and happy because we did it. We are about rugby, not Argentina, about our game.
And how is your team dealing with the quarantine? And would you say this extra year of preparation will be a positive for the Pumas?
We are trying to do something. I don't know when we are going to play again or practice again or run again because I have half of the team in a small apartment. I try to send some bicycles, some equipment from gyms. We started we do everything, chat, interview. We try to do a lot of things the first 2 weeks, and then we see, this is going to be so long, and I have to give space to the play because I started with meetings with team. Like this one, I share some image about, no, we have to tackle hard, and then I say, everyone is dying around the world. We are going to be in quarantine. Sorry, guys. See you next week. And we started to prepare a physical condition to do something different about game. We are going to start with technical sessions just the next week because we spent 50 days and they need to start to do something with the game. But they are in his own home trying to do something, study. They are practicing different English, or we have different challenge every week about the players, and the next week we are going to start to have our technical session through this, I don't know, Teams or Zoom or.
And do you see the extra year, the delay of the Olympics were you guys already peaking, or do you see this as a positive to have another year to prepare for the Olympics?
For my team, for Argentina, was 100% positive because we had many injuries during the season. And we have a young team. We have 4 players with just 2 or 3 tournaments, and for us, they are going to have 1 year more to develop. So I'm very happy. I was sad in the moment that they said, "No, you are not going to play Olympics this game," because we worked very hard during these 4 years to arrive to this moment. But if you are thinking about the game and about the injuries, about the players that you can introduce to your team, for me, the decision was positive.
Santi, let's switch for a few moments to broadcasting. Okay, so you've played, you've coached. I had the honor of working with you for a few matches, Rosario, Argentina, for the World Rugby Under-20 Championship last year. And honestly, I was so impressed with you commentating in a second language, your very first time ever. How did you manage it?
Maybe part of my crazy mind I told you about as a winger, don't think, kick the ball and do whatever you feel. I said, the first time I said to the guy, it's impossible. I can do that. I didn't study, obviously. I learned English by ear. I never studied the words or the verbs in English. And I said, no, it's crazy. The first time he contacted me and said, it's going to be in Spanish, in English. And I started to talk with the guy who contracted me and say, to feel, it's in English, yes. And you can do it. No, this guy, I had very few chats with him. I'm going to try to be more friendly, to show him that my English is terrible. I started to talk with him. No, you're going to be okay. Okay, but do you want to drink something outside? No, okay. I start to show him about my English. And then my English, I contract an English teacher and say, Santi, you have to do it, because if you have a goal, you're going to start to practice, and it's about your game, and you know about the game. And she pushed me to do it, and I did it. And I have a big support next to me, Dallen Stanford, because you pushed me to do it, and you can do it. Maybe you say, no, horrible, this guy. No, you can do it, come on. And Santi, you give me a good space to develop. Thank you.
No, what I will say is I'm so impressed, because before every game, you would come to me and you'd prepare some lines. You'd ask me different questions, different ways to say something similar, because, as a color commentator, you can't, if there's 6 tries, you can't just talk about the same way they get scored. So very impressed with you. But let's go, not long after that, my friend, we find out that you, Joel Stransky, and myself are working together at the Rugby World Cup in Japan. What was going through your mind when you found out?
After that game in Rosario, the same guy contacted me and said, Santi, you are going to the World Cup. Because when I saw the first time that he called me, I said, no, I'm not going to answer, I'm fired. It was terrible. They are going to say, Santi, don't come anymore. Thank you very much for your time. But they called me, Santi, we are thinking to send you to the World Cup. I was thinking that you are going to fire me, and now we are thinking in sending me to the World Cup. And was a big experience, be with professional teams, guys like you and Stransky. For me was like, I can't believe it. I'm not part of this. You give me a big hand, like, to prepare the games before each game, and spend 1 week in a World Cup. It was my first World Cup as a supporter or as a whatever, and was a big experience. Share with you and all your experience, and see a World Cup from very close. See my team. I see Argentina. Watch Argentina from the side, and was not easy, and because of the interview I have a lot of friends there, players and coaches, and was my big experience, short and big experience, because in 1 month I started working on finishing the World Cup, and most of the guys told me, Santi, I spent 5 years here to be in a World Cup, and you did it just in 1 game. And I don't know, I'm say thank you to everyone, because they pushed me to do it and give me a big hand, and opportunities are there, and you have to take it or not, and it was funny.
Every experience helps shape us as well, right? So no, as a viewer of the World Cup, I loved having the Argentinian flavor in your experience and insights. So from Canada, we loved it, and we loved you. So thank you for that. Looking back, did you love Japan and the culture and just being at an event that big in a different capacity?
No, I love the country, but I have to tell you the truth. The food is 100% different. So I lost 4 or 5 kilograms when I was back. Dallen, you remember that we spent a lot of time in 7-Eleven trying to find something to eat. The food is 100% different. The culture is 100% different. I understood the culture is different. I love just one of the city, because maybe we made a good team we rent some bicycle, and we spent an afternoon different with some friends, and was a big experience. But the World Cup was amazing. The experience to work there with Dallen and Stransky was amazing, but the city was like very hard to work around, to have. When I go to, I hate to do some tourist, because I spend my life like a tourist. But when I recommend to someone else to go to some place, is the weather must be perfect, the food, and obviously the views. But the food, the weather, and the views must be in the same position. If the weather was not very hot, and the food is impossible, and the language obviously is impossible. So I love the World Cup, but the job that we did, and the people who I shared the World Cup, but not the city. Sorry.
Santi, this goes back full circle now to you being a homebody. And I'll never forget asking you, well, actually, Verity, my wife asked you, you've traveled all over the world and you've done this for 20 years. Like, it must be so thrilling. And you grabbed the chair you were sitting on and held it tight and said, I like to be home. And so this is perfect for you.
And perfect. Everyone asks me, and I can't say, I'm very happy like something, because I understand the situation. A lot of people lost their job, and maybe some of the familiar or some friends are sick, and you have to stay at home, and don't say to anyone. But I'm very happy, because I can keep working, because I'm working in different development of players. I'm working with my players. As I told you, I had a lot of injuries, and for me, past 1 year, the Olympics was perfect. Like, okay, let's go to do it again. We did it. We prepared a team, and we had mistake about the preparation, about the injuries, about the game, about the result, about the everything. And let's go to do it again. Let's go to fix the details that we did it. We did it, or not because we did it in a wrong way, because we don't have the result that we hope. So let's go to do it again. I spent time. I told you the truth. I rent this house in August. And from August, because I was 1 month and a half in Japan, from August to the 10th of March, that when start the quarantine, I slept here 27 nights. 27 from the last 8 months. So now I spend 50, 60 days here. I know my home. I know the electricity and all the details about my home. And I can enjoy my home and my son too.
Well, Santi, it's at least there's some positives to take out of this. I want to say it was an absolute blast talking to you, my friend. You're the Argentine sun that is always shining and smiling, and we love everything you do, and a real pleasure to have you on the Rugby Hive.
Thank you very much. Again, sorry about, I want to explain more situation or more story, but my English is
No, your English is amazing, my friend. Honestly, for us, as I said, in broadcasting, to commentate in our own language is hard enough. Here you are, speaking English as a second language, you sound absolutely fluent, and we love it.
Thank you very much, and it was a big pleasure trying to share something about my culture, my country, and I don't know, whenever you want, I can show you more about Argentina. And
yes.
Thank you for this time to talk with you, because I miss. Yesterday I had a meeting with the refs, with Schubert and Paddy O'Brien. We had many of discussion, like we are enemies. And we started to go and said, I miss you. Oh, okay, what happened with this situation? And let's go to do a chat with all the coaches, because nothing. It's our family. I spent with Schubert the last 20 years with him. It's our job, it's our life, and spend time with you is the same. Thank you very much for this talk, for this chat, for this call. And I'm very happy to be here with you.
Beautiful ball over the top. Yes, Seppo!
Thank you for listening, you sleek sensations.
If you haven't already, please subscribe to Rugby Hive Podcast and catch us on all the socials at Rugby Hive.
We appreciate your support. Be safe out there, and we'll see you soon.
They've taken the lunch money from South Africa.